Pollen season is here, and Premier Heating and Air has rebates on new units starting at $1,000. Indoor air quality products are free with the purchase of a new unit, and all types of financing are available for new units and for repairs. Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company. Log on to dublin.premierishere.com or call 478-300-2633. And for a limited time only, enjoy a one-time exclusive offer for new customers with our dispatch fee waived on your next repair. So call or log on today. Premier is here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out. Just finished up a great practice, and this is a first here for TV35. We've got new West Lawrence High School baseball coach, Mr. Parker Gordon. Coach Gordon, how are you, sir?
Doing great, doing great. Appreciate you coming out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach, like I say, this is the first time we've featured you on our program, and so let's start there. Tell us a little bit about yourself. For the community who may not know anything about Coach Gordon, who's Coach Gordon? Tell us about him.
Well, I'm originally from Claxton, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Went to school and graduated at Pinewood Christian Academy. Graduated in 2011, went to college at Georgia Southern. Started my coaching career in college as an 18-year-old. Okay. Coached at Pinewood Christian Academy doing middle school baseball and high school baseball. Did that for 4 years. While we were there, my last year, the fourth year there, I was varsity only and made the first region championship there in about 15 years. It was able to make it to the Final Four. After that season, I got my first job at Long County. Just one of them jobs you had to have when you come out of college. You got to find the first one. Right. Was over there, coached multiple sports over there, did a 2-year stint. Made my way to Tattnall County, so a little closer home to Claxton, and got over there. Was the head middle school baseball coach for 3 years. Coached high school football and did a little middle school basketball. Got the opportunity 3 years later to go to Metter. The head coach at Metter is Zach Rackett. He was my head coach at Pinewood, who gave me my first job as an 18-year-old, and been trying to get me to Metter for years. And when I got over there in 2020 and 21, I coached varsity baseball there as the outfield coach, hitting coach, head JV coach, and we were able to have a really good squad, won the region that year and made a run to the state championship and won the first state championship in Metter history. So after that, I was married that year to Shelby Gordon, and finally got a job. Knew how to get closer to home. She didn't want to move from Dublin, which I understand. You know, even though everything's better in Metter. But so we moved up here, got a job at West Lawrence. Coach Kagan McLean hired me to coach football. I told my wife that since I moved up here and we had that long trip at Metter for that year, that I would not coach baseball that year and spend that time with her. Nice. And we enjoyed traveling up that spring. And that following year, Coach Carter met with me and said, "Hey, I'd really love to have you on staff." And we met and got me on staff and been there for 3 years now and enjoyed every minute with him. And this year, you know, with the dynamic that he had, them having their third child, he was ready to step down and give me the job. And here we are now as the head baseball coach at West, and that's where we came from.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, you have all the experience there, some ups, some downs, state championship, but I believe this is your first head coaching experience. Is that correct?
That is correct, the high school level, yes.
Okay, at the high school level. Tell us about that for you. I mean, you get the job relatively soon before the season, just have a little bit of time there. Tell us about the transition and also stepping into that first head coaching role.
Yeah. Well, you know, with my career, I've always had head coaches at high school level that have always instilled in me the process of being a head coach, giving me duties to do, to learn how to structure and know how to keep discipline and have a good program, motivate kids, and the way to talk to them. And Zach Rackett at Metter did a good job of giving me those duties. Coach Carter did a good job of trying to instill in me and teach me those experience moments to get to this point when it was ready to be my turn. But like I've told people before, I thought I knew what to expect,
Sure.
but you really do not know until your feet get in those shoes. And then you think you know everything that's going on, but you don't. And there's a lot of aspects in it that you have to learn as you go. And yes, we get the job relatively right before the season. There's a lot of things we have not been to implement, but we've implemented enough to have a successful year. And because the program was where it was with Coach Carter,
Right.
it's really just kind of keeping the process going.
Sure. Yeah, you're keeping it rolling, but you also have things. It's your team now. You want to do things your way, I guess is fair to say. What's that been like? Because, like we say, the season's rolling, but you've got games coming up. But you're also you maybe want to change some things. How have you been able to do that?
It's a process, and it's a learning experience for our players and our program and our coaching staff. You know, you have me and Coach Carter are two different personalities, but now we get along very well, and we see things the same way. But it's a learning experience for those players. You know, I'm a more relative even keel kind of guy, and I try to keep the discipline the way it needs to be in the program. But it takes a process to learn that these kids have to learn me, and I have to learn them at the new role that I'm in. And same thing with our coaching staff. So it takes a little time, and as we've gone through this year, you've seen progressions of now they're getting used to Coach Gordon. Coach Gordon's getting used to being the head guy. Same thing with the staff, and the roles are becoming established. And you're putting your pieces in it as you're going through the season to get the way that fits your personality as the coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, Coach, you've highlighted your staff a few times there. Let's shout them out. Tell us about your staff this year.
So our staff, we've got Jody Pollock. He's our associate head coach, infield coach, and everybody knows Coach Pollock from around the county. He's a great baseball mind, played at University of Georgia for Coach Polk. And he is established here at West Lawrence since, I believe, 2014, 2015. And he is a massive help for us. We've also got Coach Martin Coffin. Another is our pitching coach, our catcher's coach, and he has been here for a while too, and he's been ready to be that pitching coach under Coach Carter for the last few years, and he's done a great job for us. Coach Case Matthews is on staff with us still. He's our head JV coach, helps us with the outfield. Great local guy, good with the kids, great person to have on staff. And we added Coach Trevor Wood this year from East Lawrence. Great baseball mind, great hitting coach. He's our hitting coach this year and has done a tremendous job with our hitters. And we are just thrilled to have him on staff. And thankfully, we were able to get him.
Absolutely. Yeah, Coach, shout out to all those guys. And what do you think? I mean, like you say, all around staff there, and you as the head there. What is the relationship, and what do you think should be the relationship between your staff, yourself, and your players? How does that work? And I know that there's a lot there, you and your staff, but I guess from staff to player, what does that relationship look like for the Raiders?
Staff to player, I've always believed, and it's a philosophy that you have to love your players. You have to truly love what you're doing because this is a grind. It is a grind to be a coach. You're taking away family time from yourself to give family time to someone else's children and in their family.
Right.
And you want to have that relationship to where it's almost like sort of like a father-son kind of deal where you have to show love, but you also have to show structure and discipline with them too, and you're guiding them not just to be a great baseball player, but you're guiding them and hoping to mature them in life when they graduate from West Lawrence and that they're productive citizens. But also at the same time, like I've told people before, the best thing to do, or like I like to see, is when we have other players that have graduated come back to games and practices because they love the program.
Yeah,
that's when you know it's a family aspect. And that's what we preach, that's what we teach. It's the same thing with our staff. You have to show them respect. They show respect back to you. You love the staff. You have to listen to input. That's one thing I've learned as a head coach is over these last couple of years is from Coach Carter, I got to do a good job of listening and listen to his suggestions and opinions and then ultimately making the ultimate decision.
Right.
But that relationship with the players is crucial to be able to have a productive high-end program.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is a high-end program? What are we shooting for here at West Lawrence?
What we're shooting here for is that I believed this before I got here. Just looking at the outside before I got into Lawrence County, the west side, this program can be a high-end program. What I mean by that is that when we play any opponent, we have a chance and we are going to win. That's what I want our kids to think, that we're coming to compete no matter what opponent that we're playing. And when people come down here to Dexter, They're going to come here and find a team that's going to play baseball correctly. They're going to know the strategy. They're going to know the bunt game. They're going to know how to slash. They're going to know how to safety squeeze. They're going to know how to hit and run. We're going to know how to field the ball. We're going to know how to throw strikes. We're going to know how to run the bases. And we're going to do it at a proficient level. And when they get down here, they know it's going to be tough to win here at Raider Stadium. So with that, what I'm hoping for is that we establish this and that we establish deep runs in the playoffs. Region championships are great, but what people remember are those deep runs in the playoffs. And I want to get over that hump of that quarterfinal and get this team to a Final Four. Because when you get to the quarterfinals, every team's pretty much equal. It's all those other things that I described before that makes the difference. Can you do the little things for baseball correctly and play small ball? Because that's what's going to get you to that Final Four and give you that chance to get to a state championship.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the man himself, Coach Gordon. We'll take a quick break. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Tom Dominy. Here at Dublin Nelson, we pride ourselves on providing the industry's highest quality products at the most competitive pricing. We are a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry, and we can answer your questions and help you get the parts and equipment you need. From mowing to Renee, we carry the plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products you need from the brands you trust. We also carry a great lineup of Milwaukee tools. At Dublin Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment, doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question, or if you're looking for a hard-to-find part, give us a call. Our experts are ready to help. Order online, give us a call, or come by at 507 Airport Road in Dublin. We're committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here, Coach Gordon, new head coach here at West Lawrence. Coach, let's talk about today's practice. A little bit of a different one and a unique spot in the season here for you today. What happened here today?
So today what we have, we were coming off kind of a stretch where it's that grind of the season. I've told the kids that a couple weeks ago. When you get to that midpoint, you've put a lot of work and effort into the season, and now it's that point where you kind of hit a little bit of adversity, trying to keep the motivation going, kind of still trying to stay the course. So today what we did, I put my stamp on things today. We changed some things up with our warm-up routine, our infield, outfield, get the kids motivated to be here because we didn't have school today. So we want to make sure they had fun, and if they're having fun, we're going to have a productive practice.
Yes, sir.
So we put my stamp on it today, and we're going to roll with it as we keep going. Like I said before, we're trying to establish my philosophy onto the program. Hopefully today after the demeanor of the team left, I think we're about to go on a roll here. I have a good feeling about it, and I think they have a good feeling about starting something new. When you change things up, it kind of puts a good fresh air out into things. So that's what we looked into today, and I thought we had a very quality practice today.
Yes, sir. It can freshen things up, get you guys excited, and warm-ups, it's something – I think it says a lot about your program. How important is it that warm-ups are just, we got them down, everybody, we step in, we know what we're doing?
I've told the kids from day one, the little things are what matters. And the little things of warming up, doing the things that we ask them to do, or doing our band work during warm-ups, everything to our stretching, to our throws, to everything that we do, when you go and warm up in front of another opponent, it is just the sight of another player looking at our program and seeing it done right puts a little fear in them, knowing that, hey, those guys know what they're doing over there. And it already gives you a little bit of edge over your opponent. It is a huge deal with your warm-ups and your ins and outs because it does put a little fear in that opponent, and it gives you a little bit of edge for you when you go in there and play inside that diamond.
Sir. Right, absolutely. Yeah, Coach, a challenge for you, Coach, and I would imagine is we want everything to be polished and done correctly, but we also want our guys to have fun, as we mentioned. How have you walked that line in your coaching experience, but also this season for the Raiders?
Well, in my past, a lot of experience. Kids are different now than they were when I was coming up.
Sure.
There was a lot more. You probably get a little bit, I want to say harder on them, but there's a lot more structure that you could do.
Yes,
But now there's a lot more personalities out there and having to deal with those personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to enjoy and have fun. You're going to play well when the players are having fun and want to be there. One thing that I've allowed them to do is, we've allowed walk-up songs. I'm not a big walk-up song guy, but they love it.
Sure.
And I'll compromise with them a little bit. Hey, you do that, I'll give you this if you do this for me, because that gives them ownership of something. I let them talk and have a good time with it pregame. I'll let them, that's their day. I was talking about this to Coach a couple of months ago that, we want to have our hands on everything, but really we need to have our hands on everything at practice. When we get to the game, that is their day.
Yes,
They've put in the work, we've put into the we've put in the coaching on the practice days. Now game day is their day. It's time for them to perform. It's time whatever they need to do to get themselves ready, we're going to allow them to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Yeah, that's good stuff. And again, talking about that relationship between the players and the coaches, and maybe compromise there, but good for the program.
That's correct.
And Coach, let's talk about the season here. It's been one of ups and downs, and you've had some things thrown your way it's been challenging at times. Tell us where we're at in the season, and just kind of walk us through where we're at.
Yeah, we started off the season just kind of the unknown. We're in a new region. Really don't know the teams in Augusta very well. With being my first year too, no one really knows a lot, so we didn't know what to expect when we got into it. Right now, I believe we're 9-0 in region play, which is one of the check boxes that we had. Nice. We've played some really tough non-region opponents, and I've told people before I went back and researched. I believe what we have is we're facing 3 teams that made the Final Four last year. We're facing 3 or 4 teams that were in the Sweet 16. We're facing about 4 region championships from last year. So it's a very tough non-region schedule, but we schedule that way because, like I said, the goal at the end of the day is a deep playoff run. The more quality opponents that we put on the schedule, it prepares us for the second season of the year, and that's the playoffs. Where we are now, we had a couple injuries a couple weeks ago. We're gaining some of those kids back. And we're going to get some more back in the next couple of weeks, and I think that's going to kind of jumpstart us, getting us to that second season.
Yeah, yes, sir. And like you say, we're changing up a little bit, and you're going to get some guys back here. Hopefully that does push us in to that second season, the playoffs. And how far out are we from the playoffs?
We're a month away from the playoffs. So we've got about 5 more region games and a big region set coming up next week against Howard. We need to take care of business. And then the week after that is the Harlem series. Gotcha. We got them here on a Tuesday, and then we go to them on Thursday. And that's where we're ready. We want to hit on all cylinders when we get to that week and see where that takes us.
Yes, sir. 2 region opponents, Howard and Harlem.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then we've got Baldwin the week after Harlem.
Also
finish
region.
It up. That's correct.
Okay. Got you. Yeah, and what do we expect from those series? Have we played those guys before this year?
We have not played them before this year. We've played Howard and Baldwin both in our old region.
Okay.
We have not seen Harlem here since I've been here.
Yes, sir.
But they are the back-to-back state champions in 3A the last 2 years, and right now they're 18-0, and they have a really good program. And I've told the boys this, and I'm always honest with them. I've told the parents this in our community that I'm going to be straight up with them and be honest. And the deal with Harlem is this: when you win back-to-back state championship, you win one state championship, which I know is a different mindset within the program. They understand what it takes to win, and they are expected to win. They think that. And that's where I want our guys to get, and I think we're getting there, and I think it's going to be a really good series when we get there in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exciting. Do we know the dates on that? I know I'm throwing that at you.
It's the first week in April. I believe it's April 2nd and April 4th.
Okay. Yeah, and here, both those two?
The Tuesday game will be here, and the Thursday game will be at Harlem.
Okay, got you. That's exciting. Big stuff. And yeah, Coach, wow, here we go. Second season coming in quick for you. How are you feeling personally? How are you feeling at this point in the season?
Me personally, I just had my first child last week,
sir.
So we got that going on,
Man,
and
time for you.
I'm telling you, it has just been a whirlwind of stuff that hit me back in November and October. But I've always told this, and I'm big in my faith, and I've told my Bible study, my men's discipleship group, my small group for the last couple of years that I felt like life has been very, not easy, but God's blessed us a lot.
Absolutely.
And through that, in the book of James, it talks about trials, and God gives us trials to be able to build our endurance. And so I've been praying for the last couple of years. I've asked God I need a trial. I need something. I want to build my endurance to be closer to you. And sure enough, we hit August, and we find out we've got a kid coming during baseball season, and then I find out in September that December I'm going to be the head coach. You got a new child coming, our firstborn, and you've got the baseball job at West Lawrence, which is a demanding job here in the county. you know, here it is. God's given me that trial. And we faced trials through the season so far, and I embrace those trials. And I embrace those because I know it's going to build endurance. Even though it's been kind of exhausting at times and trying to kind of head spinning, we're going to keep the course. And I have my faith in Him. I know that He's got a plan for me. He's got a plan for this program. He's got a plan for my family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And those are indeed some trials, but some pretty good ones. They will build your endurance, and they require a lot. I'm certain. But head coach here at West Lawrence and your firstborn, it's not the worst thing that can happen.
No, it's definitely blessings.
Yeah,
it's
there you
definitely
go.
blessings. Definitely blessings. But with those blessings too become responsibility that God puts on us, and that's where you got to make sure you stay focused on Him, and you stay focused on the things that the Holy Spirit speaks to your heart, and that's going to help guide you making the decisions as a leader, and asking for wisdom and His grace and His patience through those things.
Absolutely. So. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Gordon. We'll take one more break. We'll be back with him. Y'all stay with us.
This feeling is at our core. Can't explain what it is exactly, but it's out here. A calling to seek new horizons, to progress, to explore, to take our tools and experience and redefine our limits. This need could be ingrained in us from our past, or it could be from knowing above all, time is our most valuable resource, and each step we take is the legacy we create. As the wise that came before us said, no great thing is created suddenly. But sometimes a patient process reveals a bold revelation. You asked, we engineered. Introducing the new generation of CF Moto off-road vehicles. Ride without compromise.
Hi, this is Greg at Shamrock Honda Kawasaki. We'd love to invite you to come check out the great deals we can give you on the CF Moto U-Force 1000s.
Jackson's Income Tax Service is ready to serve you today. Jackson's Income Tax Service is open year-round, so don't delay. Come in today and get your tax return done and out of the way. Jackson's Income Tax Services always stay abreast of current and future tax laws. Our lobby is now open to the public, and you may come in and file your tax returns in person. We still offer drop-off, email, and fax services for other options. So count on Jackson's Income Tax Service and get your tax return done today.
So come to Jackson's Income Tax Service,
where experience makes the difference.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, brand new head coach here, West Lawrence High School. Coming up on the playoffs here, we've been talking. A lot has gone on this season, and Coach, we must highlight the kids. Let's highlight some guys. Who's really standing out for you this season all around?
First one I'm going to highlight, man, is Colby Clark.
Okay.
Colby Clark this year has been one of our starting pitchers.
Yeah.
He's played some first base for us through the last couple of weeks with some injuries, but I'm going to highlight him because he missed basically the whole year last year with a back injury.
Yes, sir.
And you know, he was very devastated, as you should, to not be able to be on the field with your friends and be able to compete and have fun playing baseball. Well, he's got himself healthy, and he has done a tremendous job up on the bump for us and has pitched very well for us. He's swung the bat well for us the last couple of weeks, what we needed. But he has done a good job, and we look forward to him the rest of the way out to be one of those guys that we rely on as our starting pitcher and swing the bat for us. Another one is Parker Bryant. Parker is signed with Georgia State. He'll be playing there next spring, and he's dealing with a little injury right now, but he's a good leader for us. It's his senior year. He's been a big bat for us in the lineup when he was healthy, been good on the mound for us, and we look forward to getting him back. We've had a lot of new guys out there. We've got some that started for us last year, like Grant Baker and Kason Pollock have been out there that have been steady for us. You know, we've used Duggan Malone, a freshman, out in center field, and he's been well for us, and he's been on the mound for us and has pitched very well for us, and he's learning as he goes as a freshman can, you know. Yeah. So we've got all those guys rolling with. We got more freshmen that have been out there playing. Landon Norton, J.D. Hogan. Those guys have come into some roles that, you know, throwing a three at baseball real quick as young 15-year-olds.
Right.
But we've also had some good senior leadership with Jordan Hall and Mason Dunn and Roderick Pierce, who I told him today one of his goals, he's a good courtesy runner for us, and one of his goals in the beginning of the year when we had a senior meeting was he wanted 25 stolen bases. Well, he's at 16 stolen bases right now and has not been caught stealing once this year. So we've had those guys buy in, and they have been productive for us, and we're hoping that those guys continue to embrace the process and see where it leads us when we get in that second season.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, before we went to a commercial break, you talked about there's a lot of personalities nowadays. How do these guys gel on the field and off the field?
They gel really well together. Like I told them today, when you wear that Raider T-shirt or that Raider jersey on, we are a family, and that's one thing I like about the team aspect in any team, baseball or whatever it is that everything is built around a family, right? It's built around a bigger thing than ourselves. And now within that bigger thing, there's always going to be different personalities, different way of doing things. But as long as we're all got our eyes laser focused on the big picture, you're going to have success. I've told the boys the other day, I said, it talks about in Corinthians about, Paul talks about the body of the church, right?
Yes, sir.
And how you can't have the foot functioning one way and the eye functioning another because it's not going to work together. Everybody has a different role. Everybody has a different personality. But if you all focus on the body, which would be the family of this baseball team, you're going to be very productive.
Right.
And those personalities gel well together, but they also work together as a team.
That's right. That's right. That's good stuff. Coach, speaking of that team, when can we see the Raiders in action? What's coming up here relatively soon?
So this coming up Monday, we got veterans at home, a little JV action at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock start for the varsity game. And we've got Howard on Tuesday and Howard again on Friday. So we're hoping to get in there and compete on Monday, hopefully get a W, get 2 more region wins, and keep our process going and check those boxes and keep rolling with it.
That's right. Let's check the boxes. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Gordon's been here with us today. Coach, appreciate what you're doing this year. I think, hey, all things considered, we're having a pretty good season here. What do you think?
I do too. I think so also.
I believe we're headed in the right direction.
That's correct.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Gordon here with us today at West Lawrence High School. Come see the Raiders the rest of the way. And, hey, that second season coming in hot. Got some big games coming up. Got some big series coming up. But, hey, more than that, we're just happy to have you here, Coach. So I appreciate it.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.